Hello and welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by Neo IAS. So today on 26th August 2019, our topics are Asymmetric Federalism, then Structure of NCRBC determined, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, then Advisory Board for Banking Frauds, and Mapped Program and Previous Year Question Revision Series. So, let's move to our first topic, that is Asymmetric Federalism. Okay, so the news is that this term, that is Asymmetric Federalism, it appears frequently in the news with reference to the present political scenario in the country. Okay, so let's see what is this Asymmetric Federalism. This Asymmetric Federalism, it is found in a federation or in a confederation in which different constituent state possesses different powers. Okay, so such a type of federation, it is usually known as Asymmetric Federalism. And here, one or more of the substates, they have considerably more autonomy than the other substates, although you have to know they have some constitutional status. That is, basically the division of powers between the substates is not symmetric. That is, you have to remember. Okay, so we can say this is in contrast to the symmetric federalism. Okay, so usually in a symmetric federalism, there is no distinction is made between the constituent states. Okay, so simply we can say an asymmetric federalism, it is in contrast to symmetric federalism. Why? Because in a symmetric federalism, no distinction is being made between the constituent states. Clear? Then, and also in an asymmetric federalism, it can be divided into two types of agreements or arrangements. Okay, which are they? You know that de jure asymmetry and also de facto asymmetry. So, in the first type, that is in the de jure type of asymmetry, it resolves the differences in legislative powers, or we can say representation in central institutions, and also rights and obligation that are set in the constitution. Okay, so this type of asymmetry, it can be called as a de jure asymmetry. Clear? But in the second type, that is which comes out of national policy, or we can say an opting out, or even a bilateral and ad hoc, it deals with specific provinces, none of which are entrenched in the constitution. Clear? So this type of asymmetry, it is known as de facto asymmetry. So these are the two types of asymmetric federalism. Okay. And let's see the asymmetric federalism in India. So the government of India, usually it is referred to as the union government or central government. We know it was established by the Constitution of India, and it is the governing authority of a federal union of 28 states and 9 union territories. Okay, so the government of India, we know it is based on a tiered system. So wherein what happens? The Constitution of India, the Constitution appropriates the subjects on which each tier of government has executive powers. So we can say the Constitution, it uses the 7th schedule to dealing with the subjects under the 3 categories, which are the union list, state list, and also concurrent list. Okay, and a distinguishing aspect of the Indian federalism, it is that it is asymmetric. Clear? So next we will be dealing with the special provision. So until 2019, Article 370 made special provision for the state of Jammu and Kashmir as per the instrument of accession. Okay, but this Article 371, it makes special provision for the states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, then Goa, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, and even Sikkim as per their accession or statehood deals. Okay, that is regarding the special provision. And then regarding the linguistic political feature, we know although the constitution, or we can say, did not envisage India is now a multilingual federalism. Okay, so we can say India has a multi-party system with political allegiances frequently based on linguistic, then regional, then we can say caste identities, necessitating coalition politics, especially at the union level. Okay, this is regarding the linguistic political feature. Okay. Then about this union territories, we know besides the center and the states, the country it has got union territories with a legislature and a union territories without a legislature. Okay. So the thing is that when the constitution came into force, the various states and other administrative units, they were divided into 4 parts, that is parts A, B, C and D. Part A means states were the erstwhile provinces, and while the part B, it consists of erstwhile princely states and the principalities. Then the part C areas, they were the erstwhile chief commissioners provinces. Okay, so they become the union territories, and some of them initially it got legislatures and they were later upgraded into states. Clear? Then next you have to note regarding the Delhi and Puducherry. So the Puducherry and Delhi, it have legislatures, while the other territories under the center do not have legislatures or a ministerial council to advise the administrator. Clear? So even between the Puducherry and Delhi, there is a notable difference. What is that? You know, the Puducherry, it has got a legislative powers on any matter which is mentioned in the state list or in the concurrent list in so far as it applies to the union territory. But Delhi, what happens? Delhi, which has the same field, it has 3 further exceptions, which are the first one is the police, then second one is the land and public. That means public order, they are outside its purview. Okay, police, land and public order. Clear? And this Puducherry, you have to know it has one more unique feature. What is it? That is, despite being a single administrative unit, the union territory, it is non-contagious. That is, we can say its territory, it is not limited to one extent of land. That is, besides Puducherry and its adjoining areas, it has enclaves located within other states. Which are they? That is Karikal in Tamil Nadu, then Yanam, it is within the Andhra Pradesh, and Mahi within the Kerala. Clear? And next, talking about the state and its other constituent units. So just as we know that just as the center and the states, they do not have the matching powers in all matters, but there are some differences in the way that is some states and other constituent units of the Indian Union relate to the center. That is the 6th schedule to the constitution. It contains provisions for administration of tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. Okay, so these create the autonomous district and autonomous region. Okay, so as a whole, we can say all these creates a notable asymmetry in the way of Indian federalism. Clear? So guys, that's all regarding the first topic. Then the second topic, it is the structure of MCRBC determined. So you know the news is that a team of scientists at the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, that is ISER in Pune, they claim to have determined the atomic structure of MCRBC. Okay, so basically it is a complex bacterial protein, and also it helps to prevent viral infections in a bacterial cell, and you know it functions as a molecular scissor. Okay, so so here you have to know this is the first report of the high resolution structure from Indian determined using an electron cryo microscopy, which is commonly known as cryo-EM. Okay. So, the determination of this MCRBC structure, it has got a long-term implication in phage therapy. I'll tell what is it. And it could also help to combat drug-resistant infections in the future. Okay, so this phage therapy, first you have to know these phages. They are a group of viruses that usually infect and kills the bacterial cells. Okay, and this phage therapy, we can say it is a therapeutic use of bacteriophages to treat the bacterial infections. Clear? So, next you have to look how this scissors works. So, we know in the case of a human immune system, we know it fights against the viruses and bacteria to have an elaborate defense system in order to combat these phages. That means the viruses which infect the bacterial cells. Okay. So, what happens is that these phages, they will inject their DNA into the bacterial cell, wherein what happens, they will usually multiply and they will duplicate the virus, and eventually it bursts out of that cell into and as a result the infection spreads, or we can say it infects many other cells. Okay. So, here comes the function of the molecular scissor. That means to prevent the infection, this bacteria, they have a specialized molecular scissor which specifically cut this foreign DNA and thereby preventing the multiplication in bacterial cells. And also this molecular scissor, you have to know, it not only cut the viral DNA, but also it regulates the entry of other foreign DNA that might host an antibiotic resistance genes. Clear? This is how this scissor works. Okay. Then, so next you have to know regarding the relevance of this study. So, the understanding of these molecular scissors, they would help to combat multi-drug resistant microbes. And as I said, this MCRBCs like molecular scissors, it will prevent viral infections of the bacterial cell, and the design of the such inhibitors, it will be facilitated by their 3D structures. Okay, these are the relevance of the study. Then, our next topic, it is National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So, the news is that over 5,000 children within the age group of 6 to 14 years, they have been abandoned education in the mica mining district of Jharkhand and Bihar, and a section of them have started working as laborers in the in order to supplement their family income according to a government survey. Okay, this is the basic news. So, this survey, it was conducted by the NCPCR. NCPCR means National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Clear? So, first we will be dealing with NCPCR. You know this NCPCR, it's an apex child rights body, and mainly it emphasizes the principle of universality and also inviolability of child rights, and also it recognizes the ton of urgency in all the child related policies of the country. Okay. So, you have to remember it is the apex child rights body in the country. Clear? So, the commission actually, its mandate is to ensure that all the laws, then policies, and even the programs and also administrative mechanism, they should be in consonance with the child rights perspective, which is being enshrined in the Constitution of India and also the UN Convention on the Rights of Child. Clear? So, it was set up in 2007 under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act, and it works under the aegis of Ministry of Women and Child Development. Clear? And according to this, a child is being defined as a person who is being coming under the age group of 0 to 18 years. Okay. And it also has responsibilities under the POCSO Act of 2012 and RTE Act of 2009. And we can also say that it is a responsibility of this NCPCR to establish the Children's Court for speedy trial of the offences against child, or violation of child rights, and to get the state government and the union territory administration to appoint a special public prosecutor for every children's court. Clear? So, these are the responsibilities or functions regarding the NCPC. Fine. Then, our next topic, that is Advisory Board for Banking Frauds. So, guys, the news is that the Central Vigilance Commission, so it has constituted this Advisory Board for Banking Frauds, and it is being headed by the former Vigilance Commission, and its main function is to examine the bank fraud of over 50 crore and to recommend an action. Clear? Then, about this Advisory Board for Banking Frauds, we know, you have to remember that it is a panel, and it was called as the Advisory Board on Bank, Commercial and Financial Frauds, and it has formed in consultation with the RBI, and this ABBF, it would function as the first level of examination of all large fraud cases before it is being recommended on or reference are being made to investigate agencies by the respective public sector banks. Clear? So, you have to know this 4-member board jurisdiction, it would be confined to those cases involving the level of officers of general manager and also above in the public sector bank in respective of an allegation of a fraud case, that is a fraud in a borrowing account. Okay. And also here what happens, the lender would refer all large fraud cases, that means above 50 crore to the board, and on receipt of its recommendations or advice, the bank concerned, they would take further action in such cases. Clear? And also the Central Bureau of Investigation, they may also refer any cases or matter to the board where it has any issues or difficulties with the public sector banks concerned. Okay, that's all regarding this Advisory Board for Banking Frauds. Then, today in MapEd program, we will be dealing with Sri Krishna Temple in Bahrain. So, you all know the news is that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he launched a $4.2 million redevelopment project for the 200-year-old Sri Krishna Temple, which is located in Bahrain. Okay, so another significance is that Narendra Modi, he is the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the key Gulf nation, and also there our Prime Minister, he offered prayers at the Srinathji Temple, which is the oldest temple in this region. Okay, so the heritage and this 200-year-old legacy of this temple, which is located in Manama, it will be highlighted in the redevelopment, and the new iconic complex will house the sanctum, sanctorum and the prayer halls. Okay, this is the details regarding the news. So, here you can see the picture of the temple, and this visit of our Prime Minister, it also facilitates the relationship between the two countries, that is regarding India and the Bahrain. And as a result, India and Bahrain, they also agreed to enhance cooperation in the field of security and counter-terrorism. And thereby, what happens in a joint statement, both the countries urged the international community to reject terrorism infrastructure and also to cut off any kind of support to the terrorist. Okay. And next, it is an important point, you have to note that an MOU, it was also signed between the Benefit, that is a Bahrain company which is handling ATM, and POS transactions among others, and NPCI, that means National Payments Corporation of India, for launching the RuPay card. Okay. And as a result, what happens, the two countries, they also signed MOUs on cultural exchange program, then space technology and even solar energy. And India, it also welcomed the interest of Bahrain to join the International Solar Alliance. Clear? So, we can say both the sides, it also emphasized on the urgent need in order to pursue the UN reforms, including Security Council, through an expansion of both categories of its membership in order to make it more representative and also effective in tackling the global challenges. Okay. So, here you can see the map, and in the map you can see the exact location of the temple. You know, it is located in Manama. Okay. So, in the last class, we were dealing with Chilika and the Anasupa Lake, and I asked you to find out the name of the agency that was formed with an objective for conservation of ecology of Chilika Lagoon. Okay, so guys, the answer is the Chilika Development Authority. It was the answer. So, this Chilika Development Authority, we know it was a government of Odisha agency, and it has been created under the Forest and Environment Department of Government of Odisha. Okay, and its main objective is for the conservation of the ecology of this Chilika Lagoon, and also to bring an all-round development in the in and around the lagoon. Okay. Then, so today your question is we discussed Bahrain. Okay. So you know this Bahrain is a part of Gulf Cooperation Council. So please find the other countries which are being included in this Gulf Cooperation Council, and please comment it in the comment section. Okay. And today in previous year question revision series, our question is, a team of scientists at Brookhaven National Laboratory, including those from India, created the heaviest antimatter. Okay, that is anti-helium nucleus. So, what is or are the implications of the creation of this antimatter? And we are given three options, and that is, first option is, it will make mineral prospecting and oil exploration easier and cheaper. Second option, it will help to probe the possibility of the existence of stars and galaxies made of antimatter. And third option, it will help understand the evolution of the universe. So, here you have to select the correct answer using the codes given below, and options A, 1 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 3 only, and D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So, here you have to know some fundamental factors. That is, first you have to know what is this anti-helium nucleus and all. So, we know to every particle that has a non-zero value of some quantity, such as what we can say an electric charge, it is also possible to create another particle with its opposite value. Okay. So, this is the antiparticle of the original one. And also corresponding to most kinds of particles, there is an associated antiparticle with the same mass and opposite charge. Okay, so you have to understand this basic concept. Then, regarding the ordinary nuclei of helium atom, you know it consists of protons and 2 neutrons. That means 2 protons and 2 neutrons, called alpha particles when emitted in a radioactive decay, and we know they were found in the form by Ernest Rutherford. And then regarding the nucleus of the anti-helium-4, we know it contains of 2 antiprotons which is being bounding with 2 antineutrons. Okay. So, as a whole, its implications we can say it will probe into the possibility of existence of stars and even galaxies made up of antimatter, and also evolution of the universe. Clear? So, naturally our second option and third option is correct. Then regarding the first option, that means it will make mineral prospecting and oil exploration easier and cheaper. It's nothing related with the anti-helium nucleus. So, option 1 will not be there. So, our answer will be of B, that is 2 and 3 only. Okay. So, if you don't know any factors, that means any basic idea regarding this, you can just eliminate thing. That means you know this matter or antimatter things, it is of quantum physics. Okay. So, to know about universe, So first statement, that means first statement it is related to mineral prospecting, and so it won't be there. So all the other statements will be there. So 2 and 3 are true by this same logic. Okay, this somewhat it is related with quantum physics. In that way also you can conclude to the answer. So guys, the answer is B, that is 2 and 3. Clear? So that's all for today's session, and if you have any doubt, please comment it in the comment section. Thank you for listening.